Well, welcome back to Her Circle. We are going to go over some. We asked on Instagram and like Facebook and everything just to have you guys message or comment us and ask any questions. Doesn't matter what. We really don't. I don't feel like we have really any like limits or boundaries.
Nope, I would agree with that.
If you've listened to the last episode, Ashley doesn't have any boundaries and she would eat you alive. So we don't care over here. So we thought we'd have fun with some questions just from you guys and answer them hopefully the best we can.
Yeah.
But I did want to say I thought this was funny this morning. So on a previous episode, when we came down to do them, we got stuck. And how long did it take us last time? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, a good 20 minutes.
To get here because of a Spartan race.
No, the Ironman.
Ironman.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys did the Spartan race.
We did the Spartan race. This was the Ironman race around Tempe Town Lake and through Tempe. And
yeah. And so then
it was a little rough. And then
this morning we come over here and there's, I don't know what it was.
There's a damn marathon going on or walkathon or something.
There's people walking around with medals and it's all blocked off again. And poor Hessen's like, not again. And I'm like, what are the odds that I come down like, 2 months later and the weekend that we do it, there's another something and blocked. Yesterday we got here so nice and easy. And then today we just went in circles.
Yeah, we did a few circles again. Yeah. It seemed a little more intense this time.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what it was. I didn't see any signs about anything, but people were walking around with medals on. But everybody, like, there were some people like in jeans. Like, it wasn't like the race. You see people like they're in their wear, like, oh, that's a marathon. They're in their gear. They have specific stuff. Like, there's some people in jeans and just like hoodies, and then there was some like in like running gear, leggings. And so I'm like, I'm really confused by this because I'm like, you wouldn't run a marathon in jeans.
No, definitely not. Well, and last time on Saturday when we were here recording, there were signs saying like, be like heads up, there's going to be issues tomorrow getting around because of the Ironman.
I didn't see that.
So I remember saying to Heston, the Ironman's going on tomorrow. And so we kind of knew that was coming. Yeah. There was no indication yesterday.
And I wouldn't even, I mean, at this point we might, but I wouldn't even think to check.
Well, now we will because we're 2 for 2 at this point.
Yeah.
I'm sure in the summer months when it's so hot outside, there's going to be nothing going on. So we shouldn't have to worry from here on out, I don't think. But bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Goodness. Yeah. I'm like, what are the odds? Poor Heston.
I know.
Just like, okay, I'll try this way. Okay, I'm going to go down this way. Okay, we'll do this. I'm like, I'm
also
so sorry.
We discussed in the car like we would get Chick-fil-A for lunch to test the French fry theory or to see if I felt that there was a difference. But today is Sunday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Hessen just texted me. It's Sunday. We can't get Chick-fil-A.
Oh, my gosh. I was about to be like, tune in, a couple episodes. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's not going to happen today.
Guys, I'm like legit
disappointed.
Upset. Yeah. So maybe we'll have to like get it tomorrow and we can make a video
and we'll make a note of it.
And we'll just like,
oh, that's a good idea.
Breaking news.
We'll do like a follow-up.
Yeah, we'll just do a follow-up video because I know you guys are just dying to know Ashley's opinion on the Chick-fil-A
I'm dying to know my opinion
I'm actually
as well.
kind of curious too because apparently, well, Hessen kind of agreed with me.
Yeah, he said he liked him better.
The little crispiness to it. So I am curious. So that's funny. We'll have to do that somehow tomorrow.
For lunch, either tomorrow
and make like
or Tuesday.
Your opinion on the video, so you guys don't have to wait.
Because I know you're dying to know.
Like you're on your, what is that? You're on your toes?
The edge of your seat.
Edge of your seat on your toes. Or that, whatever. Yeah. You're excited. You really want to know.
I was too. And especially because we had already had lunch figured out for today. We didn't have to think of anything else.
Now we have to actually
we have to think of
about what we're going to eat. Man,
we got kava yesterday, and that was really good.
It's always good.
Yeah, that's my second time having it.
It was the first time with me last time. Yeah, I prepared myself not to have kava before I came.
Yeah.
Not that I eat it a lot anyway, but it's by where my store is, and I thought about getting it because I hadn't had it in a while. I was like, no, I feel like Ashley might want it.
Yeah, because I'm like a creature of habit. If I find something that I like, it's really hard for me to do something different.
Yeah.
Like even last night at the restaurant, we went to dinner for Hessen's birthday. And I got the same enchiladas I've gotten pretty much every single time.
The 12 others.
So did almost all the girls got the same.
You mentioned that it was good and we were all like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Alyssa got something different, but all of us 4 got the enchiladas. And I mean, they don't disappoint.
Yeah, they were good.
So.
I mean, I wasn't upset by any means. I really liked their green salsa, too.
Yeah, it was good.
Wasn't mad about that either.
It's not Rosa's.
No, but it's
still good.
It was definitely.
Speaking of that, we should get that either. We could do that like Monday for dinner or something.
Probably my
Or are you going to meet Susie there?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Text her. We'll see.
If you don't want to meet her there, it's okay.
I mean, I can wait and meet her somewhere else and we could have that.
No, it's whatever you and Susie decide. Matter. I can get it whenever I want. I just don't get it that often because Heston
doesn't like
hates it.
I just don't get it.
He just is trying. Like sometimes I feel like if I really love something, he won't like it.
He wants to be difficult.
Yeah, so I have to like not push it too hard if I like something because then he'll be like, "Oh, it's not that good."
You're like, "Geez, thanks."
Mm-hmm.
It is good though.
It is so good.
It's the one thing every time I come down that I'm like, I have to have.
Did we get it last time?
Mm-hmm. No. We did last time. We didn't the time before.
We didn't because we were all sick.
And I was like, no.
Yeah. But I remember last time you came, we made sure to get it for you.
Yeah, because I missed it and it was not
disappointing.
Great. Yeah, it was disappointing. That nothing much about those last 2 days or day that I was there was really ideal. But that
took a lot of baths.
I did.
We hung out a lot.
I did take a lot of baths. I slept a lot that last day. Last full day, it was just like in bed.
It was rough.
I think I'd come out to the living room for just a little bit.
Like
and then
30 minutes.
You know what? That's been fun. I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to go take another bath.
And another nap.
Our water bill was through the roof. Our water bill. Just kidding.
I probably should have Venmo'd you guys some money for the water bill.
I just remember Heston going,
why is it so
much more expensive? Is she taking another bath? And I'm like, she just, when you don't feel good, you take a bath.
My body, it just feels so good because my body aches like that. I get that from my mom.
Yeah.
Although I take baths typically anyway.
Yeah, you're
I'm
a
weirdo. I take baths.
I was going to ask you, at your house, do you have a big tub in your master?
Yeah, we have a bathtub, like a tub and like separate tub and shower.
Shower. That's so nice.
So I'm a weirdo. I don't know if anybody else is like me, but I bathe. The only time I shower is once every 10 days that I wash my hair or whatever it is. Then I shower, do that.
Yeah.
And then I bathe the rest of the time.
I have another friend. She takes a bath every single night.
Yeah, me too. Because I have to clean before I get into bed. I don't like getting into bed with my day on me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I get in the bath and bathe before bed.
I don't have a big tub. I only have a huge shower in my master. We used to have, in 2 of the houses we've lived in, we've had a really nice tub. And I liked it. I felt like I could get into being a bath person at night. But now we don't have the big bath. And I was so disappointed because sorry, I was pregnant in a house where we had the big tub, but that's when I miscarried. So I never got to experience taking a big bath, being so pregnant. And I was really looking forward to that. And then we moved to this other house, no bath, pregnant. So I can't, it's comical to get into a regular size tub when you're 9 months pregnant. So that didn't happen a whole lot.
Because the tub in this house that I use, I mean, it's not big, but it does the trick. And that I can still lounge in it.
Right. But it's not a full submerged bath,
Yeah. I'm a bath taker. I even got Ryan on taking baths. So that's fun. He'll do that with me occasionally.
Nice.
Not that anybody needed to know that, but they're fun. I like baths. They're just nice and warm and you just relax in them.
Yeah.
Because in a shower, it's you can't
you have to stand up the whole time.
In them.
Yeah.
And relax. And I just love the heat's constantly on
everywhere.
You, so just chill. So it's nice. We were talking about getting a sauna. And I told him, because I've been wanting one forever.
Yeah.
And I was just the other day, I was I just really want to just let's do it. Let's just a 2-person one.
Would you get the big full setup? Yeah. Have you seen my parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm it's just, they're so awesome. And he loves saunas. When he goes works out, he always does.
Saunas after.
And so I told him that, and he was kind of looked, and then literally this weekend he's I I really want to get one. That's all I've been thinking about since you brought it up, and I've been looking. I was like, just buy one. Just do it.
That would be so nice.
Like,
there's so many benefits.
So yeah, that's what I told them. I was like, there's so many benefits to these saunas. And I was like, and it's so easy just to go in for 15 minutes, like after your workout. And I work out at home. Yeah. Like I don't go to the gym because we have basically all I need in our garage. So I'm like, oh, I would just love to be done and just like walk out and pop over and jump in the sauna for 15 minutes. And he can use his at the gym, but like if he comes home or wants to before bed or whatever in the morning, I'm like, it's so nice.
Yeah, it would be so nice.
I'm like, so hopefully we can do that.
Yeah.
But let me pull up the questions.
Back to the original.
Yeah, back to what we were actually doing. You know, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question I'm going to pull up is, it says, what's the best way to give up control? So I like this question, and I think it's funny because I feel like I don't know if I'm the best one to give advice because I feel like it's something I like struggle with, I think.
Yeah.
I'm like typical, like naturally, like I want to control things or situations, or I don't do very well with like the unknown or kind of like wondering why something happened. But for me, most things do, but this one for sure goes back to just like my faith. And I think it's something that I have to work on daily or like remind myself that I'm not actually in control anyway. Yeah. So even in those moments where like I think I have to be, or it drives me crazy that I might not be, or I wish I could be, or I don't want to do this because I don't know what the outcome will be. It doesn't matter because I'm not actually. So sometimes like remembering that and telling myself that actually kind of helps, because why work myself up or why get upset over something at the end of the day that like I really don't have control over. Also too, like when I think about it, when you get into moments of maybe like anger in a situation or not liking the outcome or scared of those things, I think really just like giving that to the Lord, those fears or those doubts or the anger or whatever it is with the control that comes with that is something that I know he wants you to do, but also too, I think of it like it just takes off that weight of that off of you, is because he wants to take that from you. He wants to help you with that. He doesn't want you to feel like you have to carry the world on your shoulders because you can't. We're not made to. And so letting him take that need of that control from you and really trusting him and his plan and his will, because it's better than what you can make up for yourself anyway. Right. To me, that takes off the pressure of it and goes, oh my gosh, like I don't have to worry about this. Like he's got this. Like I don't. And so I think that kind of helps with giving that up. But that's something that like I have to think on and work on. I don't just naturally go, oh, okay, it's going to be okay.
It takes effort.
Sadly.
To work on that.
Yeah.
So for me, when I think about control, I think whoever asked this question is probably asking, how do you let go of controlling external factors? Yeah. And so I look at it and go, you can't control what's going on around you, but you can maintain control of yourself. Yeah. How you react to certain situations, how you let certain things affect you. So in that aspect, I find comfort in that thought of going, you're not giving up control. You shouldn't ever give up control of yourself. Yeah. You can't control all that's going on around you. Yeah. But internally you can have control. And there was this class I took a few years ago, and the girl in the class, she was talking about emotions. And she said it takes 90 seconds or so for your body to recognize a situation, assign like an emotion to it. So the way she explained it is everything that happens to you is neutral.
Okay.
You decide to give it meaning.
Yep.
You decide to give it a life, a feeling, an emotion, all of those things. We choose to do that. And all of that happens within 90 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you can sit with that discomfort of whatever happened in the situation, if you can sit with that discomfort for 90 minutes mentally, try not to assign it anything, don't really take it on. If you can get through that 90 seconds, the chances of that affecting you negatively are significantly lower. So you've got 90 seconds to sit with discomfort, an uncomfortable situation or feeling or whatever may come up in your body or your mind. You've got 90 seconds to move on.
Yeah.
So once you know that and you know kind of how your brain works and absorbing things and processing things, 90 seconds is nothing.
Yeah.
So you have to actively make that choice.
Yeah.
To not feel a certain way. And that's also hard because for me, for so long, I've kind of struggled with anger. And I think most people have. I think that's a fair. Most people struggle with anger, and that comes again with not being able to control your external factors. That's an internal struggle. So I see this this person, they do something called rolfing, and they work with like the fascia of your muscles. And so I see him about like at least once or twice a year. And we were kind of talking about anger, because he said, like, I just get the sense that you carry a lot of anger and stuff. And so we were just discussing that feeling and that emotion. And he was saying, anger is not a bad thing. Anger is your way of protecting yourself from an injustice that you've experienced, from a wrongdoing. Your body's initial reaction can be anger sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a scary emotion to have. It's a protecting for you. It helps you realize when you've been treated badly. But it's what you decide to do with that anger that is your job.
Yeah.
And that's where you maintain control.
Yeah. Internal
control. You should always be in control of your internal feelings, your responses. But the external stuff, you can't. Yeah. There's no point.
I agree with that too. That's a good way to think of it. Like you said, you can really only focus on yourself. And that's really your only job.
That's it.
Because you could do, and that just proves that you can't, you're not going to please everyone. You might do the same thing to one person and they're going to react a different way than the 3 other people. So that's what it comes down to, where it's like you can only worry about yourself and what's going to affect you, what's going to make you angry or make you any of that stuff. If you have control over how you feel about a situation and you can get through that, again, you can't do anything about those other people, and you can't do anything about how people react to you. Because again, that's about their control.
Right.
And so me and Mom were actually talking about that one time, and she had mentioned a friend saying that to her. Like, she was like, you're not in charge of someone else's feelings or emotions. Like, that's not on you.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean like just like deliberately like, be vicious or mean. But like, at the end of the day, you can do everything right, and there's going to be somebody that thinks differently. So you can't control what they're going to respond to you or your actions or what you choose to do. So you have to be able to be in control and know that what you're doing, you're okay with. You stand by that and let that go and be confident in what you're doing.
Yep.
And I feel like if you do all that kind of, and that's said, that's not natural. I don't think it's natural to the 90 seconds. Like, it's natural that like you react to something. So you have to think about, let me take a step back, give yourself that time to not give it. So, but I think that's probably the majority of people. That's hard.
Absolutely.
It's a daily thing. I think you have to like intentionally like work on or step back. But I like that question.
Yeah, that was a good question.
I mean, I think it's something that I liked, because I'm like, I'm typically like to control. And I don't think it's necessarily like other people. It's more of like situations or like outcomes, or what am I going to do next? And can I almost like make sure that that's going to be okay? Like,
how can I have the outcome, the desired outcome?
Yeah.
Which that's fair.
Unknown, yeah. Because, I mean, it makes sense. I'm sure most people are, but it's not ideal to live like that, because then if something doesn't go good, then you're probably going to be disappointed, instead of being able to know if it doesn't work right. You don't have that control or that fear to where controlling that you're not able to adapt. Because then if that like controls you, then you're not adapting. You're going to panic instead of make an adjustment. Okay, maybe this didn't go how I planned. That's okay. What can I do to maybe like guide it back? Or what do I need to do with myself to get where it needs to go?
Yeah.
So let's see. What is the next one?
That was a good question.
Yeah, it was a good question. I like that one. Let's see. I think let's do these ones. This one's a little bit, I'll throw in a little bit more of like a lighthearted one. It says, do y'all pay attention to your zodiac signs? And if so, do y'all's differing personality traits play a part in your friendship?
I just know I'm a Capricorn. Is that a zodiac?
Yeah.
That's all that I know.
So I don't know much about zodiac signs. Like I know what I am. And I know they're like intense and stubborn, which I mean, I feel like tracks. Scorpio.
Okay.
Which I feel like tracks. But I feel like I don't know what a Capricorn is.
Yeah, look it up. See what the traits are of a Capricorn.
Because I am kind of curious. People who do know this, and I have some people that like, I don't know if they're listening, but they are like big on like this stuff, and they're probably cringing that I don't know this right now.
Well, I love when I hear about it, because I do feel like those things match up. One of my friends was talking about like a birth. I don't know if it was a birth chart or something with the day and the time that you're born. And I'd love to like do some more research into that on myself, my husband, and my kids.
Yeah, it's just like interesting.
Capricorn say?
So this is just like a quick. Apparently, it's represented by the sea goat. I guess that's your like little symbol. Like, you know, mine's a scorpion. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Capricorn is the 10th zodiac sign. It says, don't be fooled by its symbol. Capricorn is one of the 3 earth signs. So it's an earth sign. Okay. I think mine's a fire. Those born under Capricorn are known for their big picture perspective and level head. They are practical, realistic, and disciplined. And I feel like
that seems pretty accurate.
Yeah, I feel like you're all of those things, actually. Like, I feel like you're practical about things. I know you're disciplined. And I mean, I think you're realistic. I don't think you're like you're realistic about like expectations and like you said with the dreaming, like I'm set myself an realistic expectation. I'm not going to be like, I need to lose like blah, 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 or I need to do this, or I need to read 6,000 books, you know, like you're like, I'm realistic on what I can do daily to make those things. So I feel like, and obviously you're disciplined, and I feel like practical, those all kind of go together. I feel like that was pretty good. Yeah. And there's some other one that says like traits. It has like a lot of traits. They're kind of, I don't know how much I believe these, because not that they're just kind of a lot that I'm like, now you're just saying everything.
Every trait.
It's like loyal, ambitious, hardworking, sensitive, critical, serious, stubborn, suspicious. Like I'm like, now you're just saying like all the traits.
Random
those are just
human
sounds.
traits.
Those are just words.
Those are just words.
Spell it with your P's.
Spell it with your P's.
Me and Ryan always say that. Those are just sounds. Those aren't even words. Okay, so Scorpios are said to have many traits. Apparently, we're all over the place.
So we all do, apparently.
So including passion, loyalty, and intensity. They're known for being secretive, mysterious, and charismatic. Wow. Although I don't think I'm secretive. Yeah. Because I'm very
open.
Yeah. And
I would say like maybe you keep things close to yourself as far as like timing of sharing.
Yeah, like how
things.
we were talking about, I didn't tell people about this
or the boutique. Yeah. So, but I wouldn't say that's secretive. I would just say that's just smart.
Yeah, like
it's protective.
I wasn't being like, you know.
Yeah, and it was sneaky.
Yeah, because I definitely am very like, I don't like lying. Like I hate liars. Like it just makes me cringe.
Oh yeah. The worst, in my opinion, it's the worst thing you can be.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm like, tell me the truth and hurt me, and I'll get over it. Like I'm a big girl. Yeah. But like, don't be sugarcoating stuff. Just like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, it would be cool to have someone that is like a birth chart reader. Yeah. Or does like an expert on those kinds of things, because there are people who do that out there.
Oh,
like
I'm a water sign. I thought it was a fire
sign?
sign. You're an earth sign. Mine's a water sign.
I didn't even know that there were element signs.
So mine popped up like negative and positive traits. Oh, I'm just going to like call myself out. So the positive traits are like loyal, intense, which that makes me really happy that intense is under positive.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's typically like known to be negative, which I'm not saying my intensity isn't negative sometimes, but I like the fact that it's known for like, it can be very good to be like that. Like there's definitely positives. And it says like for their intense passion and determination. Magnetic, that's not me. That's Ryan. He's a Scorpio. It has like the magnetic presence and charisma. And I feel like he's a very like socially like person.
That's interesting.
He's a Scorpio.
We both married because wouldn't Heston be a Capricorn too?
Well, it depends on where it falls. Because
it's only 7 days difference.
Yeah, but it depends on where they fall.
So one thing that I've noticed about our spouses, I think you and Ryan were here.
Yeah.
And when I'm out, like I'm talkative, I visit, I like to like hang around and stuff.
That's right.
So I remember Ryan and I were like talking to some people, and you and Heston are both like sitting and waiting at the car.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I think all 4 of us had really been together for an extended amount of time. And I was laughing because it was funny, like, Kay Chandler married someone who's similar to like my personality and things that I do.
Yeah.
And I married someone similar to like, because when you hit your wall, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And same with Heston.
Yeah.
He gets to a point and he's out.
Yeah.
Like come on, I'm done. Let's go. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think you both are similar in that way. So I just remember Ryan and I visiting and talking to someone. Yeah. And then you and Heston are just like, let's get the heck out of here.
And
I'm done.
He would talk to people all night.
Yeah.
And I tell him that, I was like, I love that about you. But like when we're out, like we have to find a balance because
be respectful.
Because it's like, I'm not saying that I can't push past that limit. And there's times where a lot of times I probably do.
Yeah.
That I'm like, okay, but like I kind of want to go home tonight. Like, can we? And he did that this week, and I was like, let's go to bed. He goes, okay. So like, I'm like, thank you for taking me to bed.
Yeah, like be respectful of that.
Yeah, like sometimes it's like I did my limit, but we're both Scorpios, but he's very. There are some things about him that are, but there's some things that I'm like, you're not.
That's funny.
True Scorpio, whatever they say. But the negatives are secretive, which I don't. It says secretive and possessive, which I don't think, no. But stubborn, yes. Prone to anger, yeah. So I'm like, that's so funny. But, it even tells you who is, like, famous people. That's funny.
Famous people? Okay.
I think, like, I don't know if I feel like I think there's a lot of differences with us. I do think you're more like, what was I telling you earlier? I was like, you're more like the poise and, like, professional and like calm and like elegant, and I'm just the chaos. Yeah. I'm just here.
Which is good. I think both things are great, both are necessary.
I just am who I am.
It's a good balance.
Yeah. I'm just living on the edge of my seat. What is it? Living by what's that saying?
Seat of your pants or something.
I almost said that too, but I don't know if that's
Does that sound right?
That's what I almost said, but I was like, living by the seat of your pants? The
fly on your zipper? I don't know.
We're just saying things that
we're just saying random things.
Razorback? We don't actually. So I think that's kind of funny. But then I do think you're intense.
Yeah, I can definitely have a high level of intensity.
Yeah. I feel like maybe you are less now that you're a mother. But I definitely think you have that in you.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. It's there.
Yeah. That was a good question,
kind of
too.
Push it down. That was kind of a
fun
fun
that one.
You're like, I don't know what I am. I'm Capricorn. Well, now, Capricorn, when does his birthday fall?
The 10th, January 10th.
Because, like, Scorpios is like the end of October to the beginning of November.
Yeah, so we could be completely
weird.
Different signs.
Yeah, so Capricorn, like, dates. We'll see if he falls. Yeah.
He is. Okay.
December 22nd to January 19th. So you guys are both the same.
Or what's that one kid's name? Roan. Me, Roan, and Heston are all Capricorns.
But I feel like you and Heston are really different.
I do too.
Like, different.
Very different.
Yeah. So that's so funny because it's like how much of those rules would play.
Yeah.
But if you ask people, like some friends I know, they're like, it depends on like your water sign and your fire. I mean, there's a whole thing to it. Yeah. And I'm like, wow.
I would love to learn more about that.
I don't think this stuff is legit and real, but it's interesting to like
to see what kind of aligns
it's like
with
kind of
you.
like a fun like what are like the enneagrams?
Yeah, the numbers.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I am or any of that, but that people really got into that.
Yeah.
And then you can be like an Enneagram 5 wing 2. And I'm like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's a whole thing to those too.
Someone at Heston's work did like a...
You can do like a test.
She did a thing for Heston. And it was spot on, whatever his number was and all of these traits and things about Heston. And it seemed pretty spot on.
I would be curious just to like, just to see. Like,
I think it's just fun to hear any more information about yourself.
Yeah. To see like where you
beneficial.
Fall. Okay, let's see. We got a couple more. Okay, so you know what? Actually, yeah, we'll do these ones next. Sorry. How do we define success for ourselves, especially without getting too wrapped up in society's pressure or with other people's definitions of success? That one, I feel like me and Ryan have kind of talked about that too. And I think because I was asking him one day, this is going to show how different we are. I always like tease him. I'm like, do you even have any fears? Like, do you even like worry about anything? Because he doesn't ever seem worried or stressed, or he's always that person's like, it'll work out. It'll be fine. And so one day I'm like, do you even like think or worry about things? Like, what are you worried about? And like literally like one of the only things he comes up with is he said he's scared of like failure or like lack of success. So then my response to him was like, well, that depends on like what you define success as. Like if you know, and everyone has their different stuff. Like, to me success is having $1 billion and living, you know, whatever. And to me, I don't think that defines success because you have a lot of people who have everything, but they're not happy and they don't have everything, or they're secretly, you know, dying and are unhappy or who knows what's going on behind the scenes. Like that could just be like, looks flashy kind of thing. But again, that could be someone's like determining like this is success. I made it to the peak of life. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody has their certain like opinions on that, but I don't have a family. But, sorry, like kids.
This is news to me.
I'm just me. I don't have like my own kids. So me and Ryan don't have like a family. We are our family.
You two are the family, yeah.
But to me, like when I think about success, it comes down to like family and what you are doing as a family for your family, leaving behind like a legacy and stuff for them. To me, that's success and what you've done for people, how you were there for your people, for family and stuff. So that to me is what success is. And I sadly think in today's society, the family unit is very teared down and not as if it's wanted or needed. And I think that's a lie. I think the enemy doesn't want that. And I really sometimes have a hard time talking on this about saying this because I feel like a hypocrite because me and Ryan are choosing not to have kids. And that's deeper level. That's where I like struggle with this stuff. But I think that is the most powerful thing you can do as a person, is create a family and build them up and, for life and for them to be successful and leave a legacy for them and your people and your family and just really be there and help anyone in any needs any way you can. So to me, I like that is my definition of like success. Yeah. And like, because I don't want people looking back and being like, that car she drove though, Like, what does that even do?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't do anything for the world when you're gone.
Right.
Like, so I think it's about what makes like more of a lasting impact on people, to me, is what success is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
So when it comes to like the world, because I do think there's a lot of pressure on what's society deems successful or correct. I think you have the people speaking over women who are stay-at-home moms that's not successful because you're not being a boss, a boss babe or whatever. Well, no, because to me, if that's my family, that is successful. But I can also be successful and be a working mom.
Right.
So it's not like either one is wrong, but it has to be what's best for you and your family.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a right or wrong, and I hate that people put that on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bajillion kids and being a mom and wanting to grow that, or being a dad that, has this job to where the mom can do that, or if they feel like they both want to, or it's just, I feel like sometimes the family unit is very it's a very selfish society. So I think success is me, not what you're doing for other people.
Yeah, I agree with that
so
too.
I think that's hard when you have people defining success about what am I doing for myself or what I have instead of what I'm giving.
Right.
And I feel like that's what society is, because I think we're a very selfish society. Humans are naturally selfish.
Yeah, and most people look at the external, like you were saying, the cars, the house, all of those things. And Hess and I were having a conversation the other day because he's still working on his career. He's still growing. And the goal is to hopefully be a little bit more financially successful eventually. But I was saying to him in the car, like, we're in such a good place. He provides for 5 people. We're comfortable. We're doing great. And I just said to him, like, I feel like I need to relax a little bit more because I'm constantly in my head like, okay, well, you can do this, or we can do this, or try that.
Yeah.
And that's not what success is. I think success is continually changing for each person. Obviously, that looks different. And I think, like, for my kids, I just want my job with my kids and my goal with them is to create 3 great kids who turn into great adults who are contributing to society.
Yeah.
I think that would be a huge success for me as a mom, to send my adults out into the world, contributing, adding value wherever they go. I think that's something Heston is really good at. Anytime he goes into a situation, he looks at it and like, how can I add value? How can I make this better for myself, my family, anyone?
Yeah.
And so success is just not defined by your stuff, by your things.
Yeah.
Success is defined, like you were saying, what you put out into the world, what comes back to you, all of those good, positive things. So if you're out there making sure people are taken care of, they're doing well, all of those things, that's success to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't think there's anything wrong. And that's another thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with being successful in a business and wanting to earn more money and having nice things.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to maybe like present it. And again, that just comes back to, I think, like who you are. And that probably comes with a lot of like the reasoning in your heart behind maybe why you did those things or bought those things.
Right.
It's like sometimes people buy that because it's like, that was a reward for myself for accomplishing this. And it's like, but are you doing it because you want to be able to turn around and be like, oh my gosh, look, I just bought this house. There's something more going on, and to me, you're doing it for the wrong reasons of like society's making you feel like you have to. And it's just, you don't have to. I mean, you can, and that's great. And nobody probably doesn't want a successful business. Like if you start a business, you want it to be successful.
Yeah, you want it. And you're hoping for it to
reach
succeed.
People.
Right.
But at what point do you want it to? And when is it? You don't want it to take away what it was supposed to be intended for.
One thing.
Oh yeah,
you're good. Am I good?
Yeah.
One thing that's coming to mind, like just about successes, is like giving your kids something simple as braces. Like, to me, that's such a huge success to be able to, like, put our son in braces, get him started on working on his airway, his smile, all of those things. And I just think that's really cool that Heston is able to do that. Yeah. Like, that's a success to me because I think nowadays most parents are aware that their kids need braces. But that's just such a small thing that we're giving to our kids. Like, you're going to have a beautiful smile.
Well, I think the success and the expectations of it, what the world deems successful, is so almost dramatic and not realistic that then people are doing stuff like getting braces or even just like a couple of gifts for Christmas or like us getting to like travel, like these things that like we take for granted that I'm like, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Like to be able to do that, that's awesome. And to not think of those things as small things because they're not. Like, you get to stay at home and raise your kids and have a home. Those are like things that people are like, oh, okay. But it's like, no, that's awesome. Like,
and that's what I want to do.
That can't do that.
I feel like for me, that is a success.
Yeah.
So maybe success is more of like, are you doing what you want to do every day with your life? Maybe that's like the real root of it. Like, are you doing what you want to do?
Yeah. There's just like, and I think you have to let go of the idea of what society, and I know sometimes that's hard because we have society in our face and our hands and like everybody giving their opinion, but just really being strong in what you feel is right for your family and what is good for you guys.
Yeah, totally.
Because if that's what you're confident in that, society could say, oh, well, you don't have this. And you're like, okay, great. I have this. Or like, what does that mean? Well, how does that determine what does this, if I don't have this car, what does that make?
Yeah.
Like, what does that do for me? I can still get to A and B in this car. So you have to like weigh out those, like, is that worth it? Or is this house or whatever it is, you just have to know that, and if you can do that, great. But that doesn't mean you're any less, and everybody's success is different.
Right, exactly.
Too. And that's okay because obviously we're all different. That would be boring.
It would
be
all
just doing the same thing.
Another good question. Thank you for that one.
Oh, I thought you were. I was like, okay.
No,
what?
I don't have one. You got it all over there.
Another one is, when a friend is struggling, is it best to try to solve it for them, or best to just be a listening ear, sounding board, not offer an opinion and let them grapple?
I think that goes. Grapple. Both can potentially be the right answer.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a case-by-case scenario. Sometimes you just want to vent and you just need a sounding board. You don't need a problem solver. And sometimes you do need, like, if you're asking for an opinion. I have a friend that I call very often if I have a negative interaction with someone.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate her side of things or her thought process on things because she helps me think of things differently.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate that relationship with her where I can bounce those things off and say, okay, this happened. This is how I'm feeling about it. And my gut is telling me it might be like this. Yeah. And then for her to say, like, yep, you're spot on. I was thinking the same thing.
You're cray-cray.
Exactly. So she's a friend that I definitely turn to when I am looking for advice.
Yeah.
You know, and I think every friend can offer beneficial advice.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you just have to decide what the situation is and how to move forward. Are you going to be a sounding board?
Yeah.
Or are you going to help problem solve? And I think it's appropriate to say, like, hey, do you want me to just listen to you?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to, let's figure some things out. How can we fix this?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking of. There's nothing wrong with, I know maybe if something were to come up, me being like, okay, like, I'm so sorry. I hate that. What do you need?
Yeah.
Do you need me to come over? Do you need me to cook you dinner? Do you need to just sit? Do you want to go out and, like, take your mind off of it? Like, go do something? Like, so there's things you can do for people, but if you feel like you don't know, you can always ask.
Yeah, I think that's totally appropriate.
Obviously, if you're the one in the situation, I know we've talked about this multiple times of just, like, communicating, like, this happened, I need you, but I just need to sit in it. Can we just sit? Or I need your help. So definitely communicating that, because you're not expected to know if it's not communicated. But like you said, you have some friends that you kind of know you can expect, like, okay, I can expect advice, or I really have appreciated her advice, or I know I can go to this friend and she's not going to like put anything on me and we can just relax and sit in it, and it's just easy. So you probably know most of your friends, close friends, to that point where you kind of know what you can get for them. But also too, I don't feel like if something like when we talked past about Chad's first wife and the whole situation of losing her, I didn't know what to do in that moment. I did ask, and you didn't even know. And that's, I mean, and again, that's fine, understandable. But I don't think there's anything wrong with maybe just kind of going with what you feel or trying to do something. I'm not saying it might always track. Like I could have gone here and it could have been the worst idea and it might not have been well, but my heart behind it, what my intentions were intended to be good. And I guess at that point, it's like, I trust you to know that you knew that, and that even if it was bad, that you could be like, this isn't what I want, and you could be honest with me, or we would just kind of like work through it and we'd be okay. Because at the end of the day, you knew my intentions and where it wasn't like I was just trying to like overstep, but I wanted to be there and I wanted to do something. So I think sometimes like the fear of like, oh, am I going to do it wrong, sometimes stops people from doing anything. And I don't really know if I necessarily think that's right either, because I would hate to feel like I didn't do something for someone and they needed something. Like I almost would rather do the wrong something with the good intentions than do nothing at all. Because I never want my friends to feel like I just am like, cool, like, sorry. You know, and I'm sure I'm guilty of doing situations where I don't know and you just kind of just like let them figure it out. But I think I would probably rather do the wrong thing with the right place. Of, like,
and I wouldn't even say wrong. It would just like maybe not the perfect
what
thing.
they needed.
You know, because...
And sometimes, like, you in that situation, you didn't even know. And
I didn't know
totally
what was
fair, because it's like,
appropriate.
I've never experienced this, so I don't know what I need. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm thinking. And so sometimes maybe then too, like, you need that friend to make that decision for you. So maybe if I'm in a situation where I'm like, I have no clue what's going on, and you just do anything, then I'm like, okay, that's what I needed. You never, you know? So sometimes it's like, just do anything, help me, because I don't know. And that's enough to do something to help you through that or get you started in that process of grieving or working through whatever it is. So, that was a good question too. I'm like, okay, we have one more.
Okay.
I think this one is, so has your friendship ever gone through a valley or a time when you felt like it was stagnant or y'all weren't connecting? How did y'all overcome it, if so? Or what do y'all do to prevent that from happening?
So my thoughts are going to, I remember when we were at Chad's wedding in Utah and Caitlin was there with the kids. And I remember like her and I were like talking a lot and we were just talking about kids and something. And I think you like just got up and left.
Yeah. Tracks.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And then Caitlin said something to you or something and you were like, well, I don't have kids, so like why I don't have anything to add to the conversation.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the first time that I was like, oh, we're in completely different
like seasons,
parts of our life. And so I think that was like, let's see, and I only had Heston. And I think that was the time that you were in school. So there was a good amount of time where we didn't see each other. We still talked. And stuff. And then you came and surprised me. I think it was after I had lived, when we were living in the Rush's house, that rental. And that was like the first time after like a pretty good amount of time that we had seen each other. So I would say that's the only time where I felt like we may have been like this. And I feel like just over time, we've like leveled back out again. And it was never a bad thing, or I never sat there and questioned our friendship. I just remember thinking, well, Caitlin and I have a lot more in common at this stage. And stuff. So that's the only time that I felt like we've kind of like lulled a little. Or in the, what did it say, in the valley? Like, you know, that's the only time that I like can think of.
So that's kind of, I mean, I guess it makes sense. That time frame is the first thing that exactly came to my mind when you were in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
I was in school. That, because it was like, so me and Ryan were down right before, like you told us you were pregnant. You had just found out.
Yeah.
And so that was like the last time I saw you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I was in school. And so I think that was like my last thing before I started school.
Yeah.
Because that was 2015, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got in school that August. And so each summer, like I didn't really have much of a break. We only had like 4 weeks off. Which I mean, a long time. But it wasn't like, you know, May to whatever. Right. It was just like July, I think they did. And so I think that was like a season of like more like distance.
Yeah, just being at very different tracks.
You were going through like a huge change of like becoming a wife and a mother, like I feel like really like quickly.
Yeah.
And I was still like trying to get through school. No, it wasn't 2015 when I was in school. I started school 2013.
Mm.
So my time frame for me was a little bit like from schooling for 2013 to 2015.
Yeah.
That time frame, which you had, and we got married 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But it was when I was in school. When did y'all get married?
2014 in February 2014. Okay. And then you got married the following
2015, yeah.
August.
So it was before I was married.
Okay.
I mean, it probably was all of school because I was busy during school.
Yeah.
But specifically too, like when me and Ryan, like that time frame, like you started meeting Heston, like your wedding, like kids, like all that. I think that time frame was, we were more like, I think we had so much going on and so much change. And like you went quickly, like, you know, Heston married kid, like, and then you moved to Idaho.
Yeah.
So you guys were like gone. And in my head, I'm like, I'm just trying to survive school. And then we got married and then we moved.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot going on there. But I also think, I told Mom this too, I also look back at that and I think I was very like naive to where I don't feel like I was there for you enough like I wish I would have been. Because I think about it now and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like you had a newborn in Idaho by yourself with nobody around you.
No, he was 2 at the time, but still.
Okay, still.
Yeah.
Like that to me, like I would be like freaking out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you were, but you guys didn't have anybody around you.
Well, we had all, like Hess and I went up there and Chris, Chad, and Cody followed right behind.
Were they that soon after?
They were like the same time.
I didn't think they moved up till like a little bit after.
It was the same time because Chad, Heston, and Cody all drove up together. Yeah. And then Heston flew back and drove me and all of our stuff up when our apartment was ready.
See, I didn't realize. I thought you guys were there by yourself for a while.
We were luckily like never really.
Okay, well, I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I wasn't there for you as a friend very well at all during
I wouldn't think that. Like that had never crossed my mind.
During like first time motherhood. Yeah. Like I feel like, because to me it was so like foreign. I'm like, I'm not even like, kids aren't even in my like head. So I feel like I didn't even probably know, and I should have tried. I feel like I didn't do a very good job of being like helpful. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do anything, but just like checking in or just being like, hey,
but I
how
feel like
are
you were like you've always been constant.
I mean, I know that. I didn't mean like that. I mean, I know like our friendship has always been. I've never been like, oh, we're not friends anymore. But I feel like that season for me, I like really lacked.
Well, just like you said, being like potentially naive around what like being a new mom like what looks like.
Yeah, like I knew Caitlin, but I don't know. It just I don't feel like I like really was like
in tune with it.
Yeah, or checked in or did
but
what
like
I
in your
felt
defense, you were still going through
looking
school.
back.
I don't know how your schooling experience was. Like we could vice versa say we just both were going through such different things that were big and time consuming. That to try and connect with each other. And I think that just comes with like lack of information and being naive and also being young. Like we were like 20. I was 22.
And I think sometimes I think about the fact of how sometimes, and it could be other things than just friendships, but I'm just going to say in friendships just because obviously that's what we're talking about, that I think sometimes you get so comfortable with things, and I do believe that I was so comfortable with you. I never doubted like whether you were there or not, any of that, that sometimes like you can almost get away with less because they're not going anywhere. And I don't think that's right. Don't think that's how you should be. But I think sometimes with having that comfort, you can slack off or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I think about that, like people do that in work, or kids, I think, do that to home or family members that they feel comfortable with. They tend to lash out because they know they can, or they can show your full expressions or emotions because they know it's a safe place.
Right.
So I think that's like I think that's can happen. So I think about that I never like doubted. And so I don't think that's right, but I think people can tend to kind of like not worry about it because I can
you take it a little bit
reach
for
out
granted.
to her later. I'm busy, or and then you come down to where it's like we had that like frame where it was like, oh wow, I really should have made more of an effort during that. And you look back and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
So I think the time frame is funny that we were kind of like on the same track.
Yeah.
And I think also too, going back to that story with you and Caitlin and the kids. In my head, which I don't think this now, I think in my head, I felt like I didn't have the right, and I struggle with this still, have the right to speak on kids because I don't have them.
Yeah.
So I think at that point, it was like a thing where I was like, well, I don't know, so I can't say anything, or I don't want to say the wrong thing. Whereas now, as I think I've gotten older, I know where my heart is on speaking on kids, that even though I don't have them, I know my thoughts and beliefs on them, that I know when I speak on it, it's coming from a good place, that like I don't worry about it necessarily being taken wrong, or that people are like, well, what do you know? Which I don't know everything, but I could have kids and still not know everything.
Right. I don't know hardly anything.
So I try to tell myself that it's not the intentions of like trying to be like, oh, I know all these things. It's just my thoughts on the situation, where I think I used to kind of be nervous to speak on anything. And I remember saying that to your dad one day, where I was like, I was saying something and I was like, I know I don't have kids. Like, I feel like sometimes I can't speak. And he goes, I mean, you still have like your thoughts and opinions. He goes, you're not wrong for like having that. He says, you're not stupid. Like, you can say things without like necessarily experiencing them. Like, he's like, you've been around kids, you know. So that kind of made me feel good. And I think his thought was like, I know where your intentions are. Like, you're not trying to be like, oh, I know. Like, so I think in that time, that was kind of like where I was with things. So I felt, I'm like, oh, my sister knows. So
let her,
I'm going to go talk to someone, so, but now I don't feel that way or think that way much. And I really try to like work on it and know that I'm like, that's part of your life.
Yeah.
Like,
and I feel like any conversation we have about kids in general, you add value to whatever the conversation is.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then even then, if it's just like different, like it's going to be different points of views maybe, or even like, I don't know. I mean, it's just different. I try to think of it like I feel more comfortable doing it, even though I feel like I don't have kids. I feel like I still can speak what I think without being like, mean or wrong, or feeling like I'm coming across a certain way. But I feel like at that young age, I feel like that was like a whole, and you're my first friend who had a kid too. So there's definitely things to it, but I do look back in that time, and I think selfishly, like I wasn't doing my duties as a friend. And so I think it's easier as you get older. I know it's probably harder for other kids, like younger kids, to like think about it, but I just think being like intentional and being maybe aware of that, because I do look back and I'm like, oh, well, I would have hated that if I had a kid and my friend didn't, like that just makes me like angry at myself. And again, it is what it is. Like but just thinking about those moments. I know sometimes it's hard to, if you're in school and doing things, or you have your own things going on, to not get consumed with what your life has throwing at you, but being aware of that, like you need those people too, as well as they need you. Like you want them in your corner, just like you want to be in their corner. So, I mean, it just takes sometimes just like being a little bit more like intentional with things. And
yeah, I agree.
And I'm not saying
more present.
And you're going to go through seasons. I think that's normal. Anything. I think marriages go through seasons. Relationships are going to go. That doesn't mean it's bad or it's going to end or it's not worth it. But maybe being like aware of like those valleys and maybe doing a little bit more to kind of like bring it out. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like you don't realize it almost till you're like out of it and you look back and you're like, oh, wow. Because at the time, obviously we were like, doing that stuff. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, that wasn't great of me. But at the time you were just so worried or consumed about other things.
Yeah, you're really in the thick of it. Yeah. And it's hard to look externally on what you can work on when you're so just kind of in survival mode. And I'm sure going through school, you really are just trying to get through it every single day. Yeah. So.
But I definitely think it's just something you have to be intentional about. And even if it was just, because again, you living further, I can't just like hop on over. Yeah. So like being intentional with like shooting a message and be like, hey, how are you, Mom? Yeah. Like, new mom. Like, so I think back about that and it's just like those little things would have made a difference and they wouldn't have been hard. You just have to be willing to like think about it. And I think it's normal to go through those valleys, but thankfully and hopefully everybody is blessed like me and has a friendship that like makes it through that. Yeah. And to them, it's worth it. And you want to go that and you don't look back and go, oh, well, you suck. Yeah. It's like, well, we went through this, you realize like what you can work on and what you can fix. And I think after that, obviously the relationship as kids and now are different. But I think after that and over the last couple of years, I feel like we've gotten even better. And so I appreciate that. So I think you can take things from those. And I believe there's a reason why you go through those valleys. It's probably because I think the Lord wants to probably teach you those things and kind of like guide you through that where it's like, okay, I had to work through like me not having kids and you having kids and not just you, a lot of my friends and maybe how I feel about that and how I approach it and feel, there's things you kind of like can look back and learn about being like, okay, you need to be intentional, checking on your mamas because they need it. Yeah. And at that point, that wasn't something I was used to, but now it's like, you have to.
You're more aware of that. And that just comes with growth. And
so I think those valleys really can teach things of being like aware of things you need to work on so that hopefully you can be better. So they're not necessarily fun to go through, but there's reasons for those valleys in anything really. Yeah. So, but I'm glad we made it.
Me too.
We got out there and now we're on the mountain. I was never worried. I wasn't either.
We've always made it. Yeah. We're just
I wasn't ever worried either, but hey, we did, and now we're on the top of the mountain. Yeah. So, but yeah, those are fun little questions.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was great.
Yeah, and if anybody ever has any more, literally, we're open books.
Yeah, we'll post again before our next shoot, and I think this would be a fun little thing.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. Gets
and
conversation.
Hopefully we'll get more interaction.
Yeah, gets conversation, like just sparking that we didn't think of, and things that obviously you guys are curious about. Getting conversation going or what you want to know. And it can be easy stuff. It doesn't even have to be like, these were really good questions. Yeah. And I like these kind of questions, but you can even throw in like random ones. So I think that these are fun to do and it kind of gets us talking about things that you guys are curious on.
Yeah, interested in. Yep.
So thank you guys for sending these in.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will talk to you guys next week.
Sounds good.